Before we start this video, I'll be talking about HTML elements and HTML tags. Then we'll review indentation, and then finally learn about list elements. Throughout this course, I'll be using HTML elements interchangeably with HTML tags. Knowing the difference between them is not too important, but I'll be going over it anyway. An HTML element usually consists of the opening tag, the content in between, and then the closing tag. You can think of the HTML element as everything from the start to the end tag. On the other hand, HTML tags only consist of the opening and closing tag. Now let's quickly go over what indentation is. If we have a series of nested HTML elements and we don't indent them, it'll be hard for the user to read the code and navigate where the starting or ending tag is. For example, in the last video, I had the same example where the heading and paragraph tags were nested inside the body tags. If we didn't indent those nested tags, it would look very messy as shown in the right over here. As a summary, for the nested HTML elements, it is better to indent for readability. Now let's jump back to the new element we will be learning, and that is the HTML list elements. There are a couple of types of list elements, but in this video we'll be covering the ordered list and the unordered list. An ordered list would have a particular order to it. The ordered list element is denoted with an OL tag, standing for ordered list. A step-by-step guide on how to make scrambled eggs would be an ordered list. There is an order to the steps, like for example step 1, step 2, step 3, etc. Each of those individual steps are called list items, denoted by the LI tag. On the other hand, an unordered list would be a list that has no particular order to it. The unordered list element is denoted with the UL tag, standing for unordered list. A list of ingredients needed to make scrambled eggs would be an unordered list. A list of ingredients doesn't really have a particular order to it. Similar to the ordered list example where we had the individual steps as our list items, the individual ingredients in this case would be the list items, again denoted by the LI tag. One thing to note here is that for both the ordered and unordered lists, the list item elements are nested within those lists. Now that we've discussed the two types of list elements and the list item element, let's start coding. So now that we're back in Visual Studio Code, we want to first open our HTML folder. So let's go to Open, let's go to Desktop, HTML, and let's open it up. Okay, so here we are. Now let's create a new file named lists.html. Enter. Okay, and in order to get rid of this Explorer tab, we can just press Command B or Control B. And then, so this saves us more space. Now the first thing we want to do is to create the HTML basic structure like the other files that we did, for example, like index.html, sort of this kind of format. So what we want to do is exclamation mark and then press tab, and here we go. So I'm just going to be deleting the unnecessary stuff. And I'm going to be indenting the nested elements so it looks nicer. And then I'm going to name the title of the document to lists. Now in the body tag, we're going to first create our ordered list. So I'm going to create a paragraph tag that says ordered list. And then, so underneath that, we're going to create our ordered list. So in order to do that, we want to do an OL tag. And inside our OL tag, we want our list items. So we denote that by the LI tag. And then let's say first item. Then I'm going to copy this one, paste it here, and just change this second item, third item. Okay, so now let's view this in a browser by right-clicking and then opening with Live Server. So as you can see, this is the paragraph tag that says ordered list right over here. And then for the ordered list, that is this part. And for these individual items, we call them list items, which are denoted by li. Okay, and let's move on to the unordered list. So let's create the same kind of title, unordered list. Oops. And for the unordered list, we want to create a UL tag. And similar to the ordered list, we want to nest the list items. Okay, so let's see. One item, another item, another item. And let's save this. Both these lists are very similar, but the only difference is that the ordered list is numbered like 1, 2, 3, showing like an order. And the unordered list have bulleted items, which don't really show any order. Okay, so now let's give an example of when we would use an ordered list. So instead of this, I'm going to do top 5 games. And then for our first, let's just call this game 1. Game 2. Game 3. And then for the unordered list, let's say list of ingredients to make scrambled eggs. So I'm just using the example from the slides. So I guess we need eggs first of all, and we can add in some milk, and then we need some oil for the pan. So let's save this. And as we can see, for our top 5 games, we have an order, game 1, game 2, game 3. We want to use an ordered list for these kind of lists because game 1 is better than game 2 and game 2 is better than game 3. However, for the unordered list, eggs are not really better than milk, and milk isn't really better than oil. These are just the things that we need to use to create scrambled eggs, so we just use an unordered list. And again, these are bulleted. You can stop watching now. However, if you want to challenge yourself, you can continue with this challenge problem. So now let's move on to a challenge problem. So what I want you to do is create an ordered list that contains 3 list items, which are named color, food, and drinks. Okay, so let's do it together. So we want to create an ordered list that has 3 list items. So let's see this. Yep, so we create an ordered list with 3 list items. The next step I want you to do is, so for each of the ordered list items like color, food, and drinks, I want you to create an unordered list with 2 list items that relate to the topic of the ordered list item. So for example, for color, the unordered list items could be like green or yellow. Okay, so now let's do this together. So we want to go inside the ordered list, and underneath each of the ordered list item, we want to create an unordered list. UL tag, we need to create our 2 list items. I'm gonna just put some tabs just to make it easier to read. And then let's see, blue and red. So let's save this. So now let's do the same for food and drinks. So as we can see here, to reiterate, we have 2 unordered list items, and we can tell that because they are bulleted, and these unordered list items are underneath and nested within each of the ordered list items. So if we look back to our code, we can see that this is the list item for the ordered list. And then this unordered list, we can see it's nested within the ordered list. And that is it for today's video, and see you in the next video.